Hello and welcome to another installment of the Zions Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. This week brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper is the only fantasy football app made for fans, by fans. This is the show where we take a look into the details and goings on in the league because we all know our commissioner won't. I'm here with my co-host, as always, Mr. RJ Wagner. RJ, how are you doing?
Ted, weekend-wise, had a great weekend. Got to see my number one overall pick, Christian McCaffrey, make his season debut. We had a Division II retreat, so got to see a lot of the other team owners. But damn, Ted, 6-1 in the breakdown this week with a loss. First one stings. I'm pretty sure I'm 0-3 the weeks that I go and see the Niners play. Fuck. Wish I got the win.
Yeah, it's tough. These things happen. But this week we've got our special guest. You might know him.
I wonder who it is. Return of the Bink.
Is this the return of the Bink?
Historic run the Binky's making history. All right, good to be back, guys. Thank you for having me. It's the return of the Bink. I know it's been a couple weeks. It's been a lot of weeks. A lot has changed.
Been 7 weeks of something else.
Yeah, we were binking early. We were binking often. And my God, we are on a 7-game slide right now, but we'll get into that more. But still history. Binky loves to make history.
It's true.
Either way, good or bad. I'm a man of extremes. So
Binky loves
let's get into it, boys.
All right, why don't we just jump right into the Week 10 recap? Let's start with you, Binky. I know you want to get into it. It might be tough, but you've lost 7 in a row. Kyle beat you 114-107. Jalen Hurts got you 33, but really no one else besides James Conner with 20. Kyle didn't do as crazy as you think he should have. He had Jamar go off for 50, but then had 5 players in single digits anyway. Really got bailed out. If he only got 42, he would have lost. RJ, how do you feel about that before Binky gives the Bink breakdown on his Bink matchup?
Yeah, Ted, it was a sneaky must-win for Kyle to make sure that he doesn't have that Monty doesn't have that tiebreaker over him of going 2-0. Like you said, led by Jamar, solid, but nothing crazy from his running backs. We talked so highly of Zay Flowers the last couple of weeks. Big night from Lamar on Thursday, but he didn't do much for Kyle's team. With how bad the Bears offense looks, one thing I'd be scared of for Kyle late in the season is DeAndre Swift's outlook. Not for a lack of carries, as he just got 16, but only 59 yards, 2 injuries in the O-line, just fired their OC. Now for the Bink, A.J. Brown was the only main guy I feel like did anything. For the Eagles, 34 points. I meant for the Eagles, the main guys. Giants offense looked terrible in the morning game. I saw something that said, did Daniel Jones play his last game in a Giants jersey? Would that be a good thing or bad thing for Malik Neighbors? I really don't know because that target share is insane. One thing I could say could benefit both of you guys. I was looking at both your guys' lineups. I don't think we're past the trade deadline yet. Ted, you're looking for a quarterback. Monty, the Bink, he has 2. Is Jordan Love going to play after the bye week? I would assume he would because
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's something you guys could do, help each other out. What'd you think?
This one was just categorized as the must win between me and Kyle. It was one of ups and downs. It started with an absolute beating. That Thursday night game was one of the most electric games I've seen in recent history between Cincinnati and the Ravens. Way to kick off the week. I thought I was a dead man walking truly because Jamar almost put up a 50 bomb. We couldn't claw our way out of it, unfortunately. But Jalen Hurts, ever since the bye week, has been on an absolute tear. Like what I'm seeing out of Philly. Malik Neighbors, you mentioned. Yeah, was getting a monster target share, but his numbers have just really tapered off in a way that I thought he could be a consistent guy. Like after Rashee Rice went down, I thought, I'm still fine in the wide receiver column with A.J. Brown and Malik. Maserati Marv is more like Toyota Camry Marv these days. Ooh. And it's been tough, but I think I got overly ambitious this week. I was seeing a lot of target share out of Hunter Henry. I really couldn't have another week of a tight end flop. So decided to get off of Sam Laporta because he's been extremely inconsistent. I just couldn't have that happen again. And guess what? Get pied in the face by Hunter Henry after averaging like 8+ targets over the past 3 weeks. He comes up with an absolute dud against the Bears. Sam Laporta gets in the end zone. Could have been the difference maker there. So that one really hurt, The slide continues. We're still in this. At this point, Binky, he's just trying to knock guys off. He's not even in the race, really. At this point, I'm just a Bink assassin from a distance.
I like it.
A big sass. Well, yeah, that was a tough one for you, Big Shay. Definitely going to be clawing out of the toilet. But, next week, I won't get into it. Let's talk about the other side of the league. We got Trevor beat Kevin 122-94. Kev was feeling pretty down about himself, and you know what? He probably should be. But also regarding fantasy, like Josh Allen, Amon-Ra, Drake London, Kittle, none of them did really anything too special. They all did all right, but Kevin needs one of those people to get a 30-piece, and he just did not do it. Trevor, on the other hand, Lamar with 41, you've got to be cruising. I don't know anyone who would lose where their quarterback scored more than 40. That would just be embarrassing for the rest of their team. But he had Chase Brown. The Philly D got him 20. No one really stepped up too much. No one really needed to. Is he worried about Brandon Aubrey? That's Trevor's biggest thing right now, but that's a good problem to have, to be the only problem. RJ, how'd you feel about Trevor stomping Kev?
I mean, if you had a quarterback that also scored 40 and you outscored both of these guys, you feel like you should get a win, but I digress. Trevor with another top performance in the breakdown, led by Lamar, like you said. However, he only did get double-digit performances from Lamar, Chase Brown, and Eagles D. So wasn't as even as his team has been as of late. For Kevin, I mean, nothing really good to talk about. Kevin was really, I thought this week was Kevin's last chance at possibly getting a bye, and that might have just solidified him outside of the bye, but still in the playoffs. Pass catchers all did fine. Again, where the hell did the Eagles' 34 points come from? Only 8 from Saquon. Wait, what? Jack's 2 players that Kevin was talking about only got him a combined 14 points. So maybe Jack had reason for dropping them. Overall, maybe besides Bijan, there really wasn't many crazy performances all week, at least on Sunday, because there definitely was Thursday night. While I think it's still far out, I think I still have a chance to get the bye if I win this week over Trevor. But Trevor and you might have just created that separation, make it a 3-tier type separation. 2 guys already have the byes, plus some secured playoff guys, and then a few still fighting for that last spot. But big win for Trev, and Kev will be fine.
Binky, what'd you think about Trev beating Kev? Uh-oh. Spoilers.
Binky's breath stinks. It's so stinky. I'm really bullish on this fucking guy right here. I've been munching. Beaver! I got that Beaver fever right now. I was telling Trevor in person, I mean, I think he's got a wagon and a half. He took a lot of scrutiny draft night, choosing Lamar. JJ, one of his first picks. Was that his first rounder? Jay Jettis?
Yeah.
I mean, he put up a 7-piece this week. Overall, I think it's been a pretty consistent year for him. Chase Brown, I drafted him. And boy, what a bad drop. I mean, he has really risen as the top, very consistent running back over there. So he just has to be happy with the performance that he's seen out of his guys. McBride putting up another solid week. That trade continues to pay dividends. And then a 20-piece from your D. I haven't seen a 20-piece D all year. So I would love to get that extra length, that extra girth that Trevor's got. And then Kevin, tough week. I mean, but I mean, I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll bounce back. He'll probably make the playoffs, lose in the first round. Kevin actually just hit me up for a trade the other day.
Wow.
You guys tell me what you think.
You want to talk about it?
Kevin just hit me up for a trade. Sorry. Kevin wanted James Conner for George Kittle. Should I do it?
Give you George Kittle?
Yeah.
I saw George Kittle had some injury problems. I think he's trying to rape you.
You think it's a rape?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't do that personally.
Okay. Well, you guys made the decision and not I.
I don't think it's rape necessarily, but I mean, James Conner's fantastic. You're talking about
I love James Conner. James Conner's my guy. I think he's my ride or die. I'm just going to ride it out with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kittle's reportedly day-to-day with a hamstring irritation. Could be worse.
Yeah, I'm excited about Njoku's rest of the season anyway, so we'll just keep riding out James. Can't stop munching Beaver though.
It's tough to stop munching. Well, moving on to the next one. Speaking of two guys who haven't munched Beaver yet, or at least had their breath cleaned, we had Jack beat RJ 137 to 125, 1-2 in the scoring for this week. Jack needed this win, and it was a statement win for sure. Purdy was a great late addition, but Bijan with 28 was good. Taysom Hill was the only one in single digits for him. So Jack really had a great all-around good team. RJ, like we said, oh, I didn't realize you lost with Joe Burrow getting you 41. Sorry about that.
Oh my gosh.
This one, Burrow stepped up. Devonta, you can blame it on him. Devonta Smith, he only had 2.4 points, which is rough for someone who has had pretty good production the rest of the year. But, it had to be good to watch McCaffrey out there gearing up for a playoff run, both you and the Niners. So I hope you at least got some solace out of that.
Yeah, Ted, I actually don't know the final numbers, but I know late in the 1 o'clocks, I was eyeing Sam Darnold, and he was not doing well. And if Jack started Sam Darnold, I would have won. I don't know the final numbers, but at least at one point. So and that was really late. That was a really late move on Jack's part. So that had to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, tough week. Quarterback gets 41 on Thursday night and scoring 125 and being the second highest scorer in the week. But I got to tip my cap. Jack gets 137 and a must win. Absolutely huge for him. Two guys that I really missed from was Devonta and K. Dotton, getting me 8.4 points between them both. And I've said it twice already going through the recaps. Devonta got 2 receptions on 3 targets. Where the hell did the Eagles score 34 points from? I mean, it's not like A.J. Brown got Monty 40. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know where it came from. K-Dotton got the targets, 8 of them, 5 catches too, just not many yards. I believe he did get stopped at the 1 at the game I was at. And Jake Moody, I picked him up just because I wanted to watch another player day game, and he just decided to miss 3 field goals. And it got to the point where the second one he was going out there, I was like, man, I just don't feel confident. And then the third one, I was like, just go for it. Like, I don't want to watch him miss another field goal. It was unbelievable. And one of those was over 50. So that's 11 points missing right there. But I can't say too much just because Jack's kicker also missed a 50-plus yarder. But his team from top to bottom looks great. And like I said, and really an absolute must-win for him. Props to him. But, yeah, it really does suck having the most unlucky loss of the fantasy year. If this was last year and I was like towards the bottom, I would be blacked out already. Podcast.
Well, I guess it's a good thing you're not, for your sake.
I should be blacked out at this point. I've been drinking in private. Binky likes privacy these days. So, I mean, this was just a great matchup. These are just 2 dogs dogging it out, and RJ just happened to come out on bottom this time. I mean, when Burrow put up another 41 piece, the guy has been on an absolute tear. I don't know if you guys can think back to the early weeks of the season, but it was another this is like classic Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, like to start the season. Cold as ice in like the worst fucking way. Like everyone was like, oh my gosh, he's not the real Slim Shady. Please sit down. He can't put up points. He's not an elite quarterback. He's been overhyped since LSU. And then by the mid-season to late season, he starts kicking it into fucking gear. This is really the cream of the crop rising to the top. The guys that know how to finish always find a fucking way. This is like your Chiefs, your Ravens, your Cincinnati Bengals. Those teams who, sometimes will look like, dang, dude, they know how to fucking play football, will figure it the fuck out. And that is a testament to that. So, yeah, Burrow has been looking like an absolute stallion. McCaffrey got the
Bengals did lose. I'm just letting you know, like they're 4-6. They did lose. They're looking at.
But I'm saying they still look like a wagon. Like their offense.
Their offense is
great.
But they didn't. They seem to find a way.
Well, they played another wagon.
They seem to. Yeah, but
they don't 2 wagons play.
They don't find a way like the Chiefs. They seem to find a way to lose most.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my point is their offense is explosive as fuck, and that's what we care about in fantasy football.
Yes.
So McCaffrey got to fly out to Tampa Bay to visit yours truly, RJ Wagner. Actually, I was on that in that room right there in that kitchen drinking mimosas a couple days ago. Miss it.
While Trevor was throwing up.
Yeah, Trevor was yakking.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a big-tastic time. McCaffrey looked solid, and I'm sure that is just a taste of the sweet, sweet nectar that is to come. He just does his thing. His Achilles look good. Thank you to the German Reich. And I mean, honestly, Jack's team just across the board just represented. And I think he has to feel really good about that. Debo, we were talking about all those missed field goals. I don't know if you guys saw, but he got into a little bit of a spat with one of the long snappers, took him by the face and just fucking mushed him. So, team chemistry might be down, but he's that guy. I mean, I think he's going to keep producing through the rest of the season. JT looked good. Purdy had a good game. So, yeah, I mean, Jack's got to feel good. He was kind of struggling, kind of slipping away for a second there. He got the win over me, and then he's been on a little bit of a hot spree. So, good for him.
I would have loved to be in the locker room of that fantasy locker room and just hear Jack's pregame speech to the boys. I know he really got them fired up. Just like, oh, we got to win this game. Oh, that's
come on. Jack's been making a lot of transactions. He's trying to find the right group of guys to carry him to the promised land like last year.
He's been on top of it.
He's been on top of it. I'm proud of him.
Proud of him. Proud of that guy. Moving on to the last matchup, going from two high rollers to two low rollers. But whenever there's a game, there's got to be a winner. There's got to be a loser. I beat Chase 107-87. I really did it again. Like Carrie Ann would say, I really did that. Kirk Cousins was a letdown for me. He got 10 points. That was sad. Chuba Hubbard was a great late addition, high score with 23. But overall, just a good team win. Only my kicker and defense in single digits felt good. Everyone contributing. Chase, on the other hand, his team is really dead. 3 weeks in a row, I saw this on the advanced stats. He's scored less and less points, so he's been decreasing when he needs to get some wins. He had like Devontae Adams getting 6, CD with 5, DJ Moore with 4. Really pitiful showing. None of them could score even 10. But yeah, really tough for Chase. And, he's got to be – dreams of the playoffs are getting out of his head. RJ, how do you think about this one?
Yeah, Ted, it's a broken record at this point on the podcast. You have another lucky win. You were actually less than 0.2 points from an even luckier win because you barely scored more than the Bink. Like you said, big game from Chuba Hubbard. Shout out Kevin. After signing that massive contract, Travis Kelce has really come back to being the stud you drafted him at 5 of his last 6 weeks, having double-digit points. You're still searching for that QB. You really need to solidify that spot. Like I said, you guys might need to talk post-pod about a possible trade. You finished digging the grave. Now you just placed him in it. He could maybe try and crawl out, but you're right now. You started the shovel, fill in the hole. But for him, things need to change now, and they're just not looking good from top to bottom. But what I will say, the best thing, Mark Andrews, tight end 1 since Trev has dropped him. So after the double-digit weeks of him doing nothing, he's now tight end 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of RJ. I mean, what we've seen out of Mark Andrews, I think the last time I was on this pod, I said, for the love of God, please drop Mark Andrews. He looks like a wounded gazelle. And at that time, he did. He wasn't even the top tight end on his fucking team. And whoa, how the tables have turned. Mark Andrews, TE1, is producing every week. Absolute wagon. Like you said, makes sense seeing Kelce, Andrews, top of the tight ends, like everything makes sense in the world again. And then just looking at like Teddy's team, we didn't even see any really spectacular performance except for the guy that he was bearish on, Chuba Hubbard. I mean, Chuba has killed all hopes of a Jonathan Brooks return to anything. Signed a massive contract a couple weeks ago. The team is trying to build up around him. So Teddy has to feel really good about that. You got to put your money where your mouth is, and the Panthers have. So I think they're going to ride him hard going into the late season. Great signs there. Teddy, you're just the fucking king. Like, being 8-2 is one thing. That's got to feel fucking awesome. I mean, honestly, when we were in Tampa, we were talking about, holy shit. Like, Ted went back to back to back, and we don't talk about it. I mean, you deserve a good old-fashioned sucking, if we're being honest. Like, 3 chips in a row is crazy. Also, when, like, the money actually started to look pretty decent, like, highest grossing net player in our fantasy league for sure by far. So, I mean, being 8-2 is one thing, but being the king of the unexpected wins and just giving a good old fuck you to the whole fucking league is a totally different ballgame. So you really have to be on top of the world. I mean, going into the playoffs, you have to feel like you could do no wrong. Putting up a 107 piece and just having such a big D that you hold the other man down to 87 points is insane. I mean, that's boa constrictor cock levels. So Great D on this guy, and I'm expecting a big season.
I'm looking at your guys' rosters. Why don't you just straight up do a Chuba Hubbard for Jalen Hurts trade, like right now on pod? Because
I'll do a live trade.
Because
Jalen Hurts for Chuba Hubbard,
live trade.
Because Ted, your running back room is so, I mean, not
crowded.
deep, but very top heavy. Yeah, it's crowded as hell. You can't start 4. And that quarterback position is much needed for you. I see why that wouldn't be an immediate for both of you. Because you have
no pressure, but fuck it, we can do it live.
Are you taking that
Okay, we'll do it live.
What RJ said exactly?
Yeah, I'm putting. I mean, no pressure, but a little bit of pressure.
All right, let me run through while you guys are putting the trade in. Are we done with the?
I don't know. Teddy doesn't seem sold, which seems like a huge win for him. Honestly, I feel like I'm sacrificing a little bit, but my running back room in the next coming weeks it's slim. I got 2 buys in the next couple weeks.
So you do Jalen Hurts for Chuba? Straight up right now? I just submitted it.
Did you?
Just submitted it.
All right, I'm gonna go through my quick stat. You guys mull over the trade. Running back snap counts. James Cook only with 55%. Well, I have a lot, Ted, so I'm gonna try and go really fast. Well, this might seem concerning. This is roughly his season average, and actually has only seen over 60% snap share once, which was week 1. Derrick Henry only 62%. Chuba Hubbard, 88% snap share, 28 carries this game. That's the most that he's had in a game since October of 2019 against Baylor. That's incredible. He was in college. Gibbs, 60% to Monty's 40%. ETN, 68% once Tank Bigsby got hurt. Malik Neighbors has had his lowest target share since week 1. What was it still? 29.6%. Unbelievable. Ramondre Stevenson has finished a game with a yards per carry over 4 just twice this year. Josh Downs in games with Joe Flacco at quarterback. Well, this doesn't matter anymore since it was just announced that it's going to be AR. But his target share was 32%, 27, 25, 33, and 29. Borderline Malik Neighbors numbers. Kareem Hunt saw a season-high 25% target share against the Broncos. Prior to Sunday, he was averaging just 5% target share per game. With Pacheco now activated off IR, I truly believe the backfield will be a nightmare. You won't see consistent production out of either person. I'm honestly shocked that either owner, I think, Monty, you have Kareem Hunt?
I do have Kareem.
And does Kevin have Pacheco?
Yep.
Yeah. Has tried shopping those players around for someone that's willing to take that chance, because I just don't see both of them seeing the production. Like, oh, you could argue I think they're going to be like Monty and Gibbs, but the Lions really rely on their running game this year. Chiefs still like to mix it up. They still have Patrick Mahomes. I just can't see them both getting a even share of the pie. Kelsey has now seen no lower than 20% target share in games with Rashee Rice. Bijan, on an absolute tear, has scored 21-plus points per game in each of his last 5 games. Jack knew something with Taysom Hill, as he had a season-high 63% route participation this week, which his previous high was 47. I even wrote this down right here. Teddy, you can stop me anytime you want. Next one. Brown hasn't seen fewer than 31.6% target share in any of his 5 completed games this year. Yes, he's only played in 5 completed games, averaging 103.4 yards per game in those. Okay, look at for a second. Let's think about it. Monty's wide receiver target share in his wide receiver room. Insane with A.J. Brown, Malik Neighbors. That is insane, Monty. I'm sorry that you keep losing. CD has never seen lower points scored in a week in his career with a target share above 30% like he did this week. He had 30% target share, and I forget what he scored. What did he score? 5 points. He was targeted 10 times for 6 catches and 21 yards. That's terrible. Rico Dowdle, 80% rush share without Zeke. Zeke's first week back, down to 65. That's all I'm going to go with. Follow my blog. It should be coming out on the Twitter if the Twitter manager ever gets it running, but that's all I'll go with for now.
Well, thanks for that stat attack, RJ, if I might in that segment.
Stat attack.
We've got to take a brief introduction for some messages from our sponsor, but I believe we might have some guaranteed mortal lock, 100% gonna hit Binky back bets after this break, so stay tuned.
All natural, all good.
I'm sure it seems all good from the outside, but my husband's off gambling again. I feel so alone, but it doesn't have to feel this way.
And we are back, and we've got some crazy bets coming from the Bink Master.
Nuclear.
We've been waiting on them. So what? You went
Nuclear.
You had 0 for 3 last time, but I'm sure you've got some great bets. All the lines are out right now. What have you got for us?
Yeah, boys, in this rendition of Baby Got Bink,
Ooh.
I'm going to have to circulate the bets later, boys. The lines aren't even out yet. This is an early showing. So we'll be circulating those in the GC. I'm sorry you won't be able to see it live, but we're going to have some mortal locks. You should follow.
You need to take a video of you presenting the picks.
I will. It's like last week I basically put you all in debt strategically in order to have you guys basically be shackled in so much debt that this week you have to play the bets. Some of you weren't riding with me. Some of you weren't feeling the bets. Yeah. So I had to have a little bit of a cold week. It's a basic manipulation tactic. You see it with student loan debt. We give you the debt, we get you into the workforce, and then you pay it back. So that's what we're doing here. Binky plays chess, not checkers.
I might need to sign up for the save repayment plan to get a lower repayment on my Bink.
We are giving out predatory loans. The interest rates are sky high.
And that's what the baby back Bink bets are? They're like student loans.
Predators. I told you guys from the get-go. We Bink early, Bink often. I mean, we're binking banks still. It's you know, the Bink will rise to the top.
Can't argue with that. Yeah, I would go through the polls that were in the group me this week, but with your, 7-game skid, depression, I totally get it, Binkmeister.
Let's fucking make it 8.
That might be a new record.
Yeah, we'll have to ask the stat man. Stat man, if you can hear us, what's the longest losing streak? Because Binky's making history. One way or another.
Binky loves
history. Why don't we get into the Week 11 preview?
As we begin the preview of Week, is this 11?
11, yeah.
11 of the 2024 ZFFFL. I must remind you of our great sponsorship over at our ZFFFL ASICS Sportsbook, ASICS Footwear. It's crunch time in fantasy football, and Chase and Sir Banks-a-Lot are sweating harder than their waiver wire picks. Enter ASICS Nimbus 25s, stability, comfort, and just enough speed to keep up. Keep them one step ahead of total humiliation. Because when you're craving wins as bad as Sir Banks craves big booty bitches, you need a ASICS Gel Nimbus 25s. Lace them up, lock in, and chase greatness. ASICs. A sound mind is a sound body.
My goodness, I need to get some ASICs.
Yeah, I need to chase something now. Whew. Well, why don't we get into the preview? Let's start with what people are calling the Beats by Dre break it down matchup, RJ versus Trevor, because they're both 1 and 2 in the breakdown. Trevor with a much higher lead, but these are two teams who've been at the top most weeks. Looking at this one, quarterbacks are going to be huge. Burrow versus Lamar. They just played last week. Who's going to get the 40-piece? RJ, is Christian McCaffrey going to come back and really perform? For Trevor, he needs Garrett Wilson, Justin Jefferson to step up after being down the last couple weeks. But I think this thing could be anyone's. Who wants it more? RJ, who you got?
Yeah, like you said, Ted, top 2 in the breakdown, even though I'm nowhere near the most points scored, and Trevor's in the most points. He is the most points scored. Huge matchup for the bye implications, as I could pull within one game and have the complete tiebreaker over Trevor. I have some great matchups with my running backs, each facing bottom 10 run defense. Run defenses, T. Higgins, if he plays, is facing a top 6 defense against wideouts, so that's not great. And as of now, I have 2 Monday night guys, Joe Mixon and Jake Ferguson, who's facing the top defense against tight ends in Houston. Not sure if I keep him in or not with Cooper Rush at quarterback. But we shall see since Cade Otton's on a bye. I'm not sure what else is out there. Trev will also have 2 guys Monday night, possibly his most devious players, kicker and defense. Besides that, Evan Ingram revenge game. I think I had him at one point. I'm pretty sure everyone's had Evan Ingram at least at one point this season. He's facing the second best defense against tight ends, so we both have tough tight end matchups. Tough matchup for Trevor at quarterback, running back, wide receiver for Justin Jefferson. Ction, however, is facing a bottom 6 rush defense. This one should be close. Surprisingly to me, the books have me as a slight favorite at -3.5 to continue my reign over Trevor, who has not beaten me since week 9 of 2021.
Wow.
Shay, what's your pick?
I'm calling this one the striptease matchup.
Ooh.
Because both of these guys love hookers. They love cocaine. And my goodness, whoever wins this is going to be sailing right into Valhalla. These are 2 guys that cannot be stopped. The bitches are everywhere. I mean, everyone is obsessed with their wins, their rosters. It is going to come down to the quarterbacks. I mean, I think across the board, these 2 teams line up super fucking well. Mm-hmm. I think that Lamar Jackson, like Pittsburgh, like the classic Baltimore versus Pittsburgh rivalry, that's a good, strong D that Pittsburgh's got. The team isn't great, but it's typically like a grinder matchup, especially being in Pittsburgh. I feel like that might be a tougher one for Lamar. I mean, that team's on fire. I'm just saying it might be a little bit lower scoring than the dynamic matchup of a Chargers versus Cincy. So I give the edge to RJ here. Trevor, do not fear. The bitches are here.
I think the Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, like who will get the touchdowns, if it's going to be rushing or passing, will be big. And then personally, and I don't like – upping my team so much, but with CMC not scoring a touchdown last week in his debut, I feel like he's going to be out for vengeance.
He's going to make up for it.
He's going to be out for vengeance back home against Seattle.
Yeah, now, Dara, I don't want to march into your territory, RJ. Wasn't his run share, wasn't he like 19 and like Durendo and what's his name?
They each had, Durendo and Jordan Mason each had 1. He had the rest of the carries and touches.
So they're not holding back, and they need him.
I really thought they would. I was actually shocked how much he was on.
They ramped him right back in there.
Yeah. Almost seems a bit unhealthy. Kind of like Marshall Woods doing push-ups the day after he's cleared after broken.
I mean, it was a humid game. Like, those conditions were not like for a first game back. It wasn't like it was an easy situation to just come back and play full-fledged football in. But it's CMC. He's not a normal man.
True. So you got me minus 3.5.
I got you minus 3.5.
All right.
I think I would definitely take that money on Trevor if I were, putting $15 down each week.
You should.
Well, moving on to the next matchup. This is the Texas Instruments numbers versus results matchup. It's me versus Kyle. I've got the results. Kyle's got the numbers. For me, I need to figure out my quarterback situation. But elsewise, I need big performances out of Kamara, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs carrying the load. Is Tyreek cooked? I heard he doesn't have a ligament in his left arm, and it's just held together by one splint.
Because of the arrest.
Yeah. And then Kyle, he needs a huge nuclear atomic performance from Jamar or maybe Nico Collins or maybe Zay Flowers or James Cook. But he needs something out of those three because I don't know if Jamar's got another 50 in him, and boy, does he need it. This one's looking like it could be a close one, but what can I say? But what can the sports book say?
Yeah, Kyle's week it starts and ends with some big-time playmakers. Jaden Daniels Thursday night, and then hopefully, for his sake, gets Nico back Monday night because I know he was supposed to play this past week. It was a late scratch, so can't guarantee he'll play. James Cook sees the toughest defense against the run, while Jahmyr Gibbs sees the second easiest against the run. Jamar and Bowers, I think, are both matchup proof, so who really cares? They are studs. Ted, you're counteracting Jaden with McLaurin Thursday. Tough matchup for Tyreek, who hasn't looked great. And then Kamara. Why did I say and then Kamara? What's Kamara? Who's Kamara?
They're playing the Browns.
I don't know why I would just randomly say Kamara. Yeah, it's not even I thought maybe he'd be playing a primetime game. I was doing my notes last night at like 2 a.m. So the three main things for this matchup, I think, will Zay Flowers rekindle that hot relationship he had with Lamar a few weeks ago? Will Nico play this week? And then 3, will Joan and Chalk live happily ever? Oh, wait, sorry, wrong note.
Chalk.
That's for tonight. Sorry. Will Teddy find that quarterback he's looking for? That's what it was. Sorry. For the books, they like the man that doesn't lose to continue to not lose. Ted, you are minus 5.5.
Ooh.
I'm calling this one the Geek Squad fall asleep at the hotel matchup because this is like having a long night at the strip club. You walk into Best Buy dazed and confused, and you need answers, all right? So especially being Kyle, you need a solution. And who's it going to be this week? I think it's going to come down to Nico Collins. Like RJ had already touched on, the guy was supposed to play last week. We all saw him dancing on the sideline. We're like, Nico's back. Nico's back. If Nico does not play in that Monday night game, I think it's a pretty clear choice, especially with how big Teddy's D is, that he's going to come out victorious in this matchup. So, I mean, if not, then it's a fucking coin toss. But I'm going to give the edge to Kyle with assuming a healthy Nico.
What was Nico's injury? Is it upper body or lower body? Do you know?
Hamstring.
Wasn't it hammy?
Yeah, hammy.
That can linger.
Yeah, it can't linger.
So you got Kyle plus 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I can see it. I like it. Ooh. Oh, just a Dr. Pepper. Next matchup. This is sponsored by Netflix. Last Chance U matchup, because it's really the last chance for these two teams. Chase versus Monty. You guys both need a big win if there's anything you can do. Monty, you could get Chase at 3-8, and then you'd be tied at 3-8 and just hope that Jack or Kyle keeps losing. But Chase has benched CJ Stroud. He's moving on to he's moving on to Justin Herbert, which I think is a good late season addition. He needs CD, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams to really step up after doing some dog doo-doo last week. And Monty, you really need A.J. Brown, Breece Hall to really pick up and do something. Kareem Hunt is someone to look for with Pacheco coming back, but also Brian Thomas. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is coming back, but Mac Jones throwing to him. Don't like that long term. RJ, what does the sportsbook think about this one?
Ooh. Damn, Bink. I didn't even realize your all of your buys that you got.
He's in bye week hell.
James Conner.
I exist in bye week hell. I exist in injury hell.
Well, this line, I think this line's going to have to change. Losers in the last place game. There's a chance both guys, no matter what, are going to be in the last place game, but the loser of this game will be in the last place game. Chase has pretty good matchups at quarterback, running back with Kyron. Wait, quarterback and running back. God, yeah, I was really tired. Wide receiver and running back with Kyron and CD, all facing bottom 8 defenses in their respective positions. Tough matchup for Brian Robinson and Younghoe Koo, who missed a few kicks last week as well. Fun fact, Chase's team, first team in history, in the history of our league, this is history, to have 2 guys who got shot on their roster, Ricky Pearsall and Brian Thomas. Bink, you might be on the brink of the longest losing streak ever in the league.
Historic.
Huh?
It's historic.
A lot of history.
Good matchups with Kareem and Brian Thomas. Will Pacheco play? How will that work with Kareem? What's CD's relationship going to look like against a not-so-good D and having Cooper Rush throw to him? Both of you are the lowest-scoring teams in the league, last in the breakdown. Yeah, right now, I mean, I guess you have the opening line. Well, you have to, I guess, go with you. But right now it has you as a minus 3.5-point favorite.
Ooh. Oh, my gosh. Why is the book always doing this to me? Make me an underdog for once, RJ. Please.
I don't think the book knew that.
You are fully to blame for this slide.
I don't think the book knew that you had.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. When the lines come out live, that might change, but that's what you have. Maybe you could say that you'll win, but by less than 3.5, so Chase will cover.
Wait, so you're giving Chase plus 3.5?
Yeah.
All right. I've been calling this one the Rick Rolled matchup because I'm never going to give you up. I'm never going to let you down. And I'm never going to turn around and hurt you. I can't give up. You know, the Binky is it's unstoppable. There's still some gas in this tank. Every week is a must win. Every week is a slide. So either way, it's going to be historic, whether I make history with the longest losing streak or I start ascending to the heavens. Either way, I mean, I can only go up from here, I feel like. So I think I got to give it to Chase to cover. But, you know, my loyalty lies with the Bink.
I like it. I love the confidence. I could see that one being a close one. Whew. And now for our last matchup, we're just rolling through these. Oh, my gosh. Now for our last matchup, we're calling this the Puff Daddy Prove It matchup because from both of these teams, I want to see some proof. I just don't want to hear about what's going on. I want to see what's happening. I would love to see some video. But we got Jack versus Kevin, 4-6 versus 5-5. This could be big. If one of them goes on a slide, they could be in the last place game. Or if one of them goes on a tear, they could be real comfortable. Kev, he needs Saquon, Josh Allen, Amon-Ra to reach that point of criticality. Go nuclear. But for Kevin, I think he'd be happy if they all just got like 20-ish points each, have a bit more balanced approach. And then Jack, on the other hand, he came off like a solid performance. He's got a nice core of JT, Bijan, Kupp, and Debo. I think they're a good core for his team. And then I think Purdy might be rolling here as the season moves on. But I'm feeling like Jack's got a more stable team, but Kevin's got that high potential. RJ, what's the sportsbook think about this one?
Do either of you have it available? Who won their previous matchup?
From Kyle's, I can see.
Oh, yeah.
Jack and Kevin?
Yeah.
Jack won.
Shout
out to Kyle for those graphics, though.
Yeah.
The tiebreaker.
Shout out Statman.
That God.
Well, that's huge then for tiebreakers if Jack can pull this one out because he'll immediately jump Kev. But Kev's definitely looking to get to that magical 6 number to clinch the playoffs for sure. While it still looks he looks good, especially this year with the amount of separation we have. Still like to get that 6. At the moment, Jack is sticking with Kaimi Fairbairn after missing that 50-yarder. After missing that 50-yarder, he's probably, maybe a little shaky legs, a little nervous, a little yippy. Probably just because he does have a great matchup against Dallas. They are the worst defense against kickers, which is huge because you don't want to end up like the Broncos and have a kick blocked from 30 yards to lose the game against the Chiefs. That was insane. Hawkinson, Metcalf, both seen tough matchups. Debo seen a bottom 8 defense against the pass for Kevin. Ridley, Amon-Ra, great matchups. Drake London, Tony Pollard, tough matchups. Sneaky. So I talked a lot of shit to Jack, a lot of us did, about guys that he's dropped. I love J. Hawkinson. I think he's a top 5 tight end now that he's back healthy. But the book, they don't give a shit. Kevin is a minus 5.5 point favorite in this matchup. Bink?
Kevin's minus 5.5.
Yep.
Damn. I'm calling this one the Did He Do It? Bijan put it all in his butt cur matchup. Because this one leaves me feeling like, what's up with all the baby oil? And
where does it say that in the matchup?
I think what it comes up to is Kevin guilty? Is he guilty of all of his sins? Is Saquon Barkley the truth? Can Josh Allen put together a big week? Is Drake London the truth? He's had boom weeks. He's had bust weeks. Kittle's been very, very consistent. And I think he's got a great roster overall. I feel like Amon-Ra's finally finding the end zone. He's not looking like Amon-Ra of old, but he's kind of on the uptick right now. And quite frankly, Jack is pretty hot. I mean, Purdy as a quarterback starting, I feel like there's a lot of boom bust there. But he can lean on Bijan, Cooper, Debo, Jonathan Taylor. I just feel like there's a little bit more stability on that side. So you said it was Kevin minus 5.5 or plus 5.5?
Minus.
Kevin minus 5.5. Okay, I take Jack with the points. I think this one will be a close one. But Diddy did do it. And I think Jack is going to put it all in Kevin's butker.
Whew.
Yeah.
And that is all for the Week 11 preview. I just want to say another shout out to Kyle. He went perfect last week in his picks, going 4-0. He's leading the guest picker scoreboard at 7-1. Monty, you're tied with Kevin and Trevor at 4-4, or at 50%. So it'll be interesting to see if you can, leapfrog them, because the winner of that does get a free piece of their choice of ZFFFL FF Pod merch. Merch to be released later.
By our
wait, what do I have to do?
Your picks.
The leader and the guest picker.
Hell yeah. Love it.
If you guys don't have anything else left, this could be it for the pod this week. Some good stuff, really ramping up for the playoffs. Can you believe there's only 4 weeks left
of the regular season, right?
Quick season
of the regular season.
That is insane. Where's the time gone?
And, just something to think about. RJ, did Chandler and Brandon deserve to get 2 perfect scores last night? Do you think they benefited from being after some bad dances, so they looked a little better, where Joey was just fresh eyes?
No, I think they deserved it.
Really? Monty, what do you think about Chandler's performance last night?
I agree with RJ. Deserved it.
One thing I hated was how at the end, when they say the people that are advancing,
it was so stupid that Joey and Chandler were there and Dwight was there. The other 3 would have been there would have been actual suspense.
Yeah, it should have been.
Why did they send Danny and Alona off when we thought they were ones who could have gone home?
Alona and Steven.
Whoever.
I'm done with Steven. I always pick one guy to hate that everyone likes, and Steven's my hater. A few years ago, it was that deaf guy. He couldn't even do music. Made me mad.
So just to wrap up. If you guys don't have anything else,
chalk or guy, Binky, chalk or guy,
chalk or guy tonight. Gonna be a huge decision for
Chalk.
I feel like if there were betting lines, he'd be the favorite.
I think so too.
In him.
But Guy just looks so.
I like Guy more.
He is yeah.
She just seems more interested in her conversations with Chalk.
And I guess for a 65-year-old man, probably looks aren't too much matter, or how suave he is, but I don't know.
Close your eyes and listen to Chalk. He's literally Peyton Manning.
I know Jack will be watching tonight.
Oh yeah. No, he watches the night after. He doesn't have cable. So don't give him any spoilers. He's watching Dancing with the Stars tonight.
Oh, I hope he doesn't watch the pod before he sees.
Yeah.
He'll be upset. But if we don't have anything else, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the Zionsville Football Fantasy Football League, Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to get those bets in before the Thursday night game, and be sure to follow us on all social media at ZFFFL FF Pod on all major platforms. I'll say it again. Kevin, what are you doing? It'd be nice to have just a Twitter thing just to say stuff. But that's fine. You just sit on your ass doing nothing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And as always,
fuck you,
Trevor.